So I had a lot of thought overnight, actually, because this is now the next day, and really it's pushing me to, after I've done this project with this CNC lathe conversion, I think between now and the end of the year, I'm not quite sure when I'm going to start it, but I'm going to probably purchase a more substantial or larger manual mill, probably a SIG, and I will do a CNC conversion on that as well, because the envelope of this, it's very good for small jobs, as you can see. Perfect. But my jobs are getting larger, so I need a larger machine. So I think that's what I'm going to do. But for now, I mean, I can cut this out on my large CNC router. But to do that, I've got to take the spoil board off, so that's what I'll be doing next. So there's our part that we've got to cut out, which is fairly simple job actually. But to do that, I've got to take my spoil board off, because I spray WD-40 as a cutting agent, and I don't really want WD-40 soaking into this. Okay, so I've had a lot of people ask me about my waste board and cutting board, so I'll show you how it comes off, and so you see it's just the reverse of putting it on. So we'll start it up and move it down. Just a bit of a tip: always start your computer up and have Mark III up and running before you start your machine off, or before you start your machine up. Okay. That'll do. It's a fairly simple affair actually. It's just two 19mm MDF boards screwed together with the screws that join them. They're countersunk 1/4 of an inch down below the surface, so you know, if I dig the tool in, I don't stuff my tool up. And even the clamps are MDF. Very simple clamping arrangement, just a bridge and a rest and just an ordinary type of bolt. Just got to clean the tracks out here a little bit. I can't get the bolts out. I can lift this off. It's a bit heavy, but and that's all it is. Okay, so you can see the setup I've got here now. I've got a pretty flat piece of chipboard, and what I'm going to do to get this absolutely square on here, I am going to put my 8mm cutter into my spindle. I'll bring the spindle up and just touch it on the back here, and I'll put one screw in, and then I'll bring the tool over and touch it on the back here, or move the material to come and touch the tool then I know it's exactly parallel with the x-axis. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Right, for those of you who have not seen me change a tool, or have ever seen a tool being changed in one of these CNC router spindles, I'll show you how it's done. But first of all, I'm going to give you a little tip if ever you are thinking of buying such a machine, whether it be a 6040, 6090 or a 6012. I would encourage you to go for an upgrade, whoever the manufacturer is, to a 2.2 kilowatt and an ER20 collet setup. Because with an ER20 collet setup, you can put, if I can get the right size tool here. Okay. It all comes down to shank size. Now, shank size is the part that is held up inside the spindle. Now, a 1.5 kilowatt and lower spindle will take a maximum shank size of tool of 1/4 inch or 6 millimeter, and that's that. Not very big, is it? Now, what opens up a whole new world for you is the ER20 collet. Now, with these, you can put anything from, this is an engraving tool, this size, sensibly, okay, although this is tapered down to a very, very sharp point. You see? Very sharp point. You've got to be careful with them too. Stick yourselves with those, alright? To 1/2 inch or 12.75 millimeters. So as you can see, your tool array that you can use with your machine greatly expands. And let's face it, you're not going to snap these off very easily. But of course, these you will snap off, and these will snap off like a blooming carrot. But of course, if you're doing the wrong thing, or you haven't got your speed and feed set quite right. So to change a tool, all you do, you get the right size collet. This is a little collet, okay, and it's got 2 tapers on it, and as this nut squeezes it up inside, it collapses this on the tool lock. If I can demonstrate there. So it holds it really firm and really parallel, square in with the shaft. And it takes a lot of side load as well. Okay, so you pop it into the nut there. There's a little sort of circlip device in there that just holds it there from falling out. Okay. It also assists you to get the tool out. And you just hold the spindle, and if I can get it on, there we go. Just put it on a few threads. Now this is an extended 8mm 3-flute milling tool. This is a carbide end mill. Okay, it'll last you years if you look after them, but they're very expensive. This one's $70. So we say that quietly, and it doesn't hurt so much. So we pop that in there like that. Okay. one spanner then holds the shaft, and the other one you can just do it up firmly, don't over tighten it. Now, as the videos go on, I will point out a few more tips of what to look for in a CNC router. The particular company that I purchased this one off doesn't exist anymore, so I can't advise you what company to go and purchase from. So what I can tell you is what to look for in a good CNC router. Okay, I've just brought the tool over now, and I've just put the material up against the flute. I'll put a screw in now to hold it there securely. And then I'll take the X over, and then I'll put the material up against the tool again. And if you're thinking of getting a pendant, this is one of the best. So I'm just going to have to take the tool off over there a little bit so I can get a screw in, but I'm up against it there now. In actual fact, I'll fit you back this way. A ways. That looks pretty good to me. I'm also putting some screws in the center area here, because when this gets cut out, this is going to be floating around free, and that's something you don't want, so it needs to be secure as well. So it's as square as we can possibly get it, and so now what I've got to do is put a very sharp tool in the spindle and bring it over to this point, and I can register the X, Y, 0. Then I'll change over and put the 8mm cutter in, and I'll touch off with the Z. Okay, so that's pretty perfect for the X and Y. So I will 0 that now. Okay, so I'm just going to put the probe there, and then on this particular pendant I just press function and probe. And that's perfectly set. So our part is loaded in there now, and I've set all the zeros, but of course I've jogged it around a bit away from the 0 point. So and also what I wanted to point out to you, I always start off my programs at 10% or 20%. And I'd like to bring the tool in very quietly to ensure that it is going to go and cut in the right position, and then I will take the speed up, and of course I can alter the spindle speed as well. So I'll just set the camera up on the job now and we'll press go and see what we get. Now that turned out to be a beautiful part. So now what I've just done is I've just dismantled the main mounting block off the saddle of the little lathe, and I've got it all mounted up in here, all square, and I've set the Z0. So now we're going to actually drill these 5 mounting holes here. Those 5. So I put in a center drill strategy in there. In fact, I'm using the same one as I used for this. I'm even using the same drilling strategy as I used for this, so everything should be identical. So here we go. that turned out absolutely as expected. But as I mentioned earlier in this video, I pretty well made my mind up that sometime this year, over the next few months, I'm probably going to convert another SIG CNC mill. I just need a larger footprint CNC mill. So that'll be later on in the year. I think that just about does it for another video. And I've achieved everything I wanted to do over the last couple of days. And I'm not sure whether I'm going to continue with the X axes or whether I'm going to do the bearing block and everything for the Y. Sorry, the Z. Yeah, so I'll see what takes me, I think. And don't forget, like and subscribe. That always helps. And pass it on to a friend. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank my patrons for supporting the channel, because without my patrons I wouldn't be able to do things like this now at this level. Because as you all know, I'm retired and, well, this is my job now. So, and I hope I'm passing on information to all you youngsters there, or everybody who's interested in machining or CNC conversion or CNC machines. And of course, there's over 350 videos now on my 2 channels. So well, that's about it, I think. So thank you for joining me, and it's bye for now.